Okay, people, so it seems as though it's the end for a lot of major things in the world of anime. And while it sucks to hear, it sucks to feel it, ultimately, all good things must come to an end. Because while we enjoy these series, while we enjoy these anime, while we enjoy these franchises, eventually at some given point, even the most longest runners, even the most popular, even the most successful, eventually have to reach their inevitable conclusion. And in this episode of ForneverWorld News, well, there's quite a few things that are coming to their conclusion or have come to their finale, and we're gonna talk about it. And I don't want to waste any more of your time, so without further ado, let's jump into another exciting episode of ForneverWorld News, the only news source that provides anything and everything anime and manga related. And we don't bore you, we get into it. Let's do it.
Now I'm starting to see his old timing. Catch me whenever you want, I'm shining. Spit the truth, see I don't do the lying. When I circle over here, know the night.
And of course, before we continue, if you would hit that subscribe button and that bell, I'd greatly appreciate it. You get notified on anything and everything in the world of anime and manga, and I'll be able to notify you on what's happening in this glorious world. So hit them buttons. So first story that we are going to be talking about is something that inevitably had to come about, right? Because at the end of the day, as I started this video off saying, every good thing must come to an end, including the series that we love, because as of the recording of this video, I hate to say it, but it is the truth. The My Hero Academia TV anime series has indeed come to a conclusion, not only with the Japanese version, but also with the English dub. The final episode has arrived. So for those that haven't checked it out yet, highly recommend getting into it ASAP and, you know, marathoning that, especially the final season, because, well, it's the end. But despite the fact that we've reached the end of the My Hero Academia TV anime series, most people may know, if you follow me. If you don't, then you should follow me, that it was seemingly announced, or at the very least teased, that we would be getting a little bit more for the TV anime of My Hero Academia, in the form of, well, in case you don't know, there was a couple of chapters that were never adapted for the TV anime and its finale, both of which that are very significant and very important to the main character and to the story as a whole, because how the TV anime ends, it basically wraps up what was done and serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump. However, when the final volume of My Hero came out, and even after that, there was a couple of chapters that came out that added extra and even more so resolved some serious and major plot lines to My Hero Academia that fans have been thirsting to know. You know, My Hero Academia is very much so heavy on certain aspects of the series, and these things wrap things up, but in the TV anime, we didn't get it. However, coming out of Jump Festa 2026, as if you haven't checked out the last episode of ForneverWorld News, I said I will be covering more stuff that happened in Jump Festa 2026. We got major good news that while yes, the TV anime of My Hero Academia is over, there is one more thing that is coming. Well, actually more than that, but the big thing that most people want to know is My Hero Academia special episode, quote, more, is now in production. It is a special episode adapting chapter 431 of the manga. And even more special for me personally is that it is scheduled for May 2nd. Shout out to my daughter's birthday. May 2nd, 2026, they are going to be adapting that final chapter of My Hero, which I'm gonna just keep it all the way real because there's the news on that aspect, but here's my opinion on this thing. The powers that be that are in charge, with all due respect, have for whatever reason prolonged this thing as much as they possibly could, because when it very first went down, the ending of My Hero, when it was serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump, the initial final chapter, chapter 430, a lot of people were left a little bit unsatisfied with certain aspects of the story, and they were like, damn, that's the ending. And there was quite a bit of a backlash, which again, that's par for the course with anime and manga fans of being upset about something. But there was a silver lining, so to speak, in the form of that it was announced that at the end of that year, we would be getting one more bonus chapter in the final volume of My Hero Academia, volume 42. And a lot of people were like, yo, this is it, let's freaking go. It was real kind of sucky feeling, so to speak, because it's like, bruh, the manga's over in Weekly Shonen Jump. Why are we doing this? Why wasn't this the final chapter chapter. Like, why wasn't this just put in Weekly Shonen Jump? Which from a marketing standpoint, and if I am a part of one of the higher ups, I'm looking at it as, oh, this is going to entice people 10 times more to pick up that final volume. Maybe they thought, I read it in Shonen Jump, I don't need it, or I don't want to collect. Oh, the only way to get this final chapter is to buy the volume. Yeah, let me go do that. Let me order it on my phone. Let me buy the digital. Let me buy the physical. Whatever the case may be, that's probably what the mindset behind that thing was. Because I wouldn't be surprised if this was initially going to be in Weekly Shonen Jump. Horikoshi probably had this thing penned out like, yo, this is what I want. Because I gotta imagine that being his baby, My Hero Academia, he probably wanted certain aspects for Deku to actually happen and didn't want to just leave certain things as is. Like, don't get me wrong, the ending of 430 is supposed to have something major for Deku. I'm trying to be spoiler free for people, which was great and fantastic, but there was still one more aspect that was supposed to, or at the very least people wanted to be resolved, and people waited and waited and waited and then finally got that chapter, but it didn't even come over here to the West. Like, you had to actually check out what was going on in Japan, so to speak, to even understand, hey, there was an extra piece of the story that resolved something major for the main character, which honestly I just thought was like, what the heck? But then you hear that the anime is coming, and then a lot of people were hoping and waiting and praying like, oh, the anime is gonna give this, right? You know what I'm saying? Not to mention for people that didn't want to check out the scanlations and wanted to wait for the official version, since it never actually hit officially in the West digital Shonen Jump, people were like, okay, when the volume comes out, we'll have the true ending of My Hero Academia. And the volume took like ages to come out over here in the West. I think it actually released, you know, the manga version, the English manga version, like a few months back or something. But a lot of fans were very much so excited for that. And then it's like, okay, the anime's gotta do it. Yo, we're finally gonna get the true ending in the anime form. And then bam, they're like, no. Now you're gonna wait a bit more for the full-on experience of what happens at the end of My Hero Academia. But I guess it also kind of makes sense and mirrors the actual waiting that Deku and crew had to wait for, you know, the whole thing to happen for Deku to begin with. But I'm still here kind of like, bruh, that is a little bit wild of how much they made fans wait for the actual true ending. And let's not forget the fact that there's still no confirmation on whether or not the extra chapter, which is a very crucial and important piece of the story as well, that wasn't in the My Hero Academia official manga, it was in like one of the spin-offs, but it covers a major aspect of an accomplishment that Deku achieved that people wanted to really know badly. And there's no confirmation on whether or not that'll be animated, but we do know at the very least we're going to be getting 431. It's going to be adapted a little bit longer out, but damn, I just gotta say, damn, the wait has been excruciating to say the least. Like, come on, dog, come on. And I get it, because like at the end of the day, it would be hypocritical to say like this is the only series that's ever done that, because look at Naruto. Shippuden took like 800 million years to get to the ending. Oh my gosh, now that I think about it, Naruto never really gave the true chapter 700, although to be fair, in replacement of that, they gave you a whole spin-off series. So yeah, and not to mention that Bleach had to wait like 10 years for its final season. So I guess this is just a reoccurring thing. Let's see what happens when it's time for the One Piece anime conclusion, if they're actually gonna go that route as well and be like, oh, you thought you was getting the One Piece finale? Yeah, you're gonna have to buy like 20 extra volumes, and each volume is gonna have one page of the final chapter. But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. I've been holding that in actually for like probably a year now at this point, of my frustrations with, you know, I guess the higher ups of Shueisha and Weekly Shonen Jump and stuff. Like, it's just been really unfair to the fans. It's been really unfair to the people that wanted to experience this more than anything. Like, bruh, what the heck? But I guess at the same time, the phrase does exist for a reason, that good things come to those who are patient, and maybe the experience would have not been that great, or maybe it would have just been a letdown if we would have gotten it a lot sooner for whatever reason. Sometimes you just got to trust the process. So there's that aspect too. You know me, it wouldn't be me if I didn't balance things out with like, yeah, I kind of went off for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes, but here's a little silver lining of, well, good things come. Yeah, that's me. And I guess some more good news, because I'm sure some people are like, okay, well, how is this thing going to be released? This May 2nd release for this episode, is it going to be like a Japanese only thing? Are the English dub people gonna have to wait? Like, how is this going to work? Well, it seems as though this one is going to be at the very least on time, so to speak, because My Hero Academia anime, the special episode More, adapting chapter 431 of the manga, premieres worldwide on Crunchyroll on May 2nd, 2026. So it's going to be a global release simultaneously. Everyone gets it all at once. No more waiting. No more Japan getting special treatment. None of that stuff. Everybody is going to be feeling good and experiencing what manga readers have experienced for quite some time. And I guess to add even more, just a little bit more of a spice from the announcements from Jump Festa 2026 for fans of this franchise as a whole, because there was a 10th anniversary key visual that was revealed for My Hero Academia, and the series apparently will be receiving multiple Ultra projects during 2026, which I'm sure most fans are hoping for the movie announcement. And I'm sure, like, you know, the live action thing is still in the works. We've gotten word and it sounds very promising and whatnot, but as far as getting like pro hero movie of Deku and crew after the events of the ending, like, I'm sure fans really want that to be in the cards as well, which Shonen Jump, Shueisha, the powers that be, higher ups, that prints money. That will print a lot of money, make the experience worth the while, make a great movie, and that'll print money. But yeah, even though the series is done, there's still a little bit more in the form of this OVA special that's coming in May, as well as all these Ultra projects, and hopefully that other chapter gets adapted, because again, that is a very big deal and a big milestone for Deku when it does happen, but we will see. Moving forward, before we actually get into some of the stories from this segment of, yes, we're going to be talking about One Piece, I did want to acknowledge and give a thank you, so to speak, to Taz Skylar for featuring me in one of his latest videos on his YouTube channel of him becoming Sanji. Essentially, to give you guys a brief backstory, way back when it was very first announced that the One Piece Netflix live action was incoming, I reacted to the casting that was announced for, like, you know, who's going to be the actors. And initially, when I just saw, like, you know, the profile picture of the actors, I was just kind of like a bit critical. I think I said homie like looked like Eminem or something like that, which that's not necessarily a bad critique or anything like that, but in terms of could he play the character of Sanji, which coincidentally Sanji and I share the same birthday. So with this video, Taz Skylar actually showed his transformation, how he went from essentially being casted as Sanji and wondering, could I actually do this, to working hard, going above and beyond measures. Like, you know, his story was actually really inspiring, to becoming Sanji himself for the One Piece live action Netflix series. So massive props to dude for being able to pull it off. And again, thanks for featuring me in the video. I think that thing like went viral or something. Like, it's at like 500,000 views already, like crazy stuff. But with that being said, going back to where we started at the beginning of this whole episode of Forever News, good things must come to an end. And as I've been on this journey, I've seen this kind of moment coming even more and more. And what I'm referring to is the fact that, well, if you've been an anime fan for even a bit of time, you have noticed that for the most part, the anime that are around each and every week have slowly but surely dissipated. Like, there's seasonal stuff all the time, and you're always gonna have something each and every week regardless, because yeah, anime is all over the place. But as far as like that one linear anime story that is always coming each and every week, well, that has slowly but surely faded out to the point where we're at, because we just got word that as of December 28th, that was the final episode of One Piece. Kind of funnily, you could call it season 1. I know you're probably like, yo, there's like what, 1200 episodes? What do you mean season 1? Because essentially the whole announcement that we got a while back that One Piece was no longer going to be a weekly anime has finally arrived. As of December 28th, One Piece anime is no longer airing weekly. It is actually going on a break, and when it returns, it will return as a seasonal anime, probably giving, I want to say, 24 to 26 episodes a year. But yeah, this marks the end of like a massive legacy of ongoing weekly like series. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still a few that are ongoing, and massive props to them, and I think that that's just awesome that they're still, you know, carrying and waving the flag like the fight ain't over yet. Like Detective Conan, like that's still a big one, and that's still going weekly, and it's a really good show, even if it's episodic. Yeah, like, you know, some people, they're not a fan of episodic stuff, but yeah, that's a really good one. But again, if you've been following anime for a while now, you've seen, like, whether it be from the Boruto anime coming to a close, Black Clover anime coming to a close, like, you've seen that the ongoing weekly stuff has kind of come to an end, because I want to say maybe like I don't want to say overcrowding, so to speak, but there's a lot of popular anime now, opposed to back in the day where there was like a handful of popular anime that really dominated everything, and then once in a blue you just get something that kind of surprises everybody with popularity. There's a lot of popular anime, and every season these seasonal anime are dominating people's time. So before, where people would just be like, I'm only watching my Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach each and every week, I don't care about anything else. Now they're like, yo, but this season there's this show, and there's this show, and there's this show. So again, you probably have a new episode of your favorite anime each and every day, I would say, for that matter, if you're really into anime. Like, you could probably get a brand new episode each and every day if you wanted it. But as far as One Piece goes, yeah, it's time, because One Piece is officially ending its 26-year run as a year-round anime. On December 28th, 2025, the anime officially transitions to seasonal format and will return in April 2026. So for those that were really enjoying and appreciating getting those weekly releases of episodes, I'm sorry to tell you, but yeah, a lot of time and effort goes into making those things. It's not as simple as some people may think. Like, there is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that happens to make those weekly things go down. But yeah, it'll be back in April, so it's not too big of a deal. And at the same time, the One Piece series as a whole, because whether it be due to stuff with Oda and so many things going on, it's kind of been cutting down anyway, right? Like, the One Piece manga hasn't released 52 chapters in a 52-week year in years. Like, it drops about, what, 30 chapters or so in a year, and the anime adapts accordingly and takes breaks as well, so it's not too big of a deal. And at the same time, this will allow for people to do other stuff with their time, and also make it that when One Piece does come back, it's a really big event, which, to be honest with you, for a fan of it, every week if you're getting an episode of something, it is a big event. But what they say, absence makes the heart fonder. So in this scenario, as far as those One Piece weekly episodes and whatnot, I guess it'll make you fonder to wait for it. But there's also other news in the world of One Piece, because I don't want to just bring you guys like some sad news and then like, hey guys, later, because according to this, One Piece by Eiichiro Oda has apparently a new anime film in production. However, Oda is not allowed to mention anything and asks fans for patience because they'll be really interested in the story, according to his message at Jump Festa 2026. So there's a new One Piece film on the way, which it makes even more sense when you compound that with everything that's going on in the world of One Piece. You got the live action on the way, you got the One Piece anime remake on the way, you got the TV anime of One Piece that comes out in April, you got a film on the way, you got manga projects. Like, there's only so much One Piece that even the most diehard fan can take in. So yeah, putting the TV anime on a seasonal schedule with everything else that's happening, that makes sense. And with a movie coming in, is like, One Piece fans are gonna be more than good. They're gonna be, someone get Tony the Tiger up in this motherfucker and have him scream out great. But yeah, shout outs to everything in the world of One Piece. Shout outs to Oda, and once again, Taz Skylar, appreciate you for featuring me in that episode. Very inspiring stuff, that even when you think you can't do something, if the opportunity arises, it could push you beyond measure to achieve your goals. Moving forward, oh boy, yes, I'm going to talk about this, even though I'm going to tread lightly because I don't want to be involved in the bullshit. Because in case you don't know, One Punch Man, yeah, the latest season, most people hate it. Personally, for me, it's one of those things where I don't really care what the internet has to say. I love One Punch Man. I loved season 1. Season 2 was badass, and season 3, while some of the things that I've seen wasn't the greatest in the world, a marathon of it is indeed in the works, and ultimately, I'm gonna be the judge of it for myself. But yeah, something that, funny enough, in private conversations, I actually knew was going to happen. Shout out to my homie Lord Agent M. We have some great anime conversations, and yeah, he could vouch that I was the one that called this, because it initially started with Netflix listing One Punch Man season 3 as part 1, and well, most people that were very angry with One Punch Man lost their freaking mind and were screaming and very upset, because that means that there's going to be a part 2 to this season of One Punch Man, and the series will continue at JC Staff, which, with all due respect, and I respect everyone's opinions, but respect my opinion to say, for all the people that were like, harassing the staff and all that, fuck those people. Shout outs to JC Staff to the utmost, because they've had to put up with a ridiculous amount of pressure this season of One Punch Man, producing to the best of their capability with an extremely tight schedule. Like, you couldn't imagine how tight these deadlines were for this staff, and they still delivered the best of their capability within the time constraints that they had. So give them some respect, regardless of what. You want to trash anything, get mad at the schedule that was brought forth for these people from the higher ups, whoever it may be, whether it's Shueisha, the chairman committee, whoever it is, get mad at those people, but leave JC Staff out of it, because they did their absolute best, and that's all you can ask from anybody. And some of the stuff that I saw, like a few different episodes, looked actually pretty good. So while maybe there was some stuff that wasn't the greatest in the world, there was also some stuff that I've seen with my own eyes that looked fantastic. So back off of JC Staff, quit being mean to them, quit talking shit. shit. And also something very good about this thing, because while some fans were, oh my god, you know, like, well, I'm gonna... Apparently, according to leaks, and I think it was actually already kind of confirmed from certain sources, One Punch Man Season 3 Part 2 will not air next year and is instead planned for sometime in 2027. The delay is reportedly meant to give the animators enough time to properly work on the most anticipated section of the series, Saitama versus Garo's fight. For many fans, it's brought a lot of hope as it increases the chances of seeing the battle animated with the quality and care it truly deserves. So for all those that were upset when they heard there's going to be more One Punch Man anime that you do not have to watch if you don't want to, like, let me repeat that again, you don't have to watch it. You don't gotta experience it. You can turn off your TV. You could grab the remote and turn that shit off. You could turn your laptop. You could throw your phone. Like, you don't gotta watch it. But considering that there's going to be ample amount of time for this next section, this next portion of it, there's a good chance that, especially like, yo, we're just now entering 2026. By 2027, that should be a decent amount of time to get a good season going. Although, you know, people are already putting reservations to complain and bitch before the season even starts of like, anytime I see one thing that I don't like, I'm gonna rage. Like, yeah, we know what time it is. We know what's up. But shout outs to JC staff, and I am going to continue to enjoy mine, and I'm imagining that 2027 One Punch Man Season 3 Part 2 is going to be great. And if it ain't, oh well, I'm still going to enjoy. Same way like a series like Berserk 2016. Like, I enjoyed that despite the fact that the CGI wasn't the greatest in the world, because the story is pretty awesome. And I know some people are going to say, but they changed some stuff from the One Punch Man story. The beats for the most part are still going to be the same. It's not like they turned Garo into some fucking one-legged dwarf named Greg, all right? Like, chill out. Oh my gosh, if they do that, I'm going to be like, yeah. But anywho, yeah, One Punch Man, there you go. Jujutsu Kaisen fans, for starters, I want to focus more on talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, even though the manga ended, but I'm excited about this upcoming season of the anime. And in general, there's the spin-off manga that's been going on for a little bit now, even though I know it's not going to be, you know, a long runner or whatnot, and I'm just in that mood for it. So yeah, because Jump Festa 2026 brought a couple of different things. It brought a really dope trailer for the upcoming season of Jujutsu Kaisen. It looked fantastic. We're going to get more Maki. We're going to get more Yuta. We're going to get more of a lot of the greatness of the culling game. And the series starts broadcast like right around the corner, January 8th, 2026. So it's not that far off. And yeah, the trailer just looked fantastic and amazing. And honestly, the more I talk about Jump Festa 2026, this was probably the best festa of I don't even know how many years. Like, from everything, if you followed, you know, the last episode of ForneverWorld News where I talked about Black Clover's new trailer and release date, Bleach new trailer release date, Hitman Reborn remake, like there's been so many great things about this Jump Festa 26, including this, because yeah, the season looks like it's gonna be so good. And if you doubt the success of Jujutsu Kaisen, maybe you're a newcomer, or maybe you just don't know, that's okay. You know, people step into new worlds every day, you feel me? Because Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be on the cover of the Jump Giga 2026 Winter Magazine and Saikyo Jump Magazine as well. And the manga, if you don't know how successful it is, has reached 150 million copies in circulation worldwide for the entire series. If you don't know, that makes it like one of the highest selling manga of all time. I think it's like either top 10, top 5 highest selling manga ever. So yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen is a really big deal. And while the manga, the original mangas come to a close, there is a spin-off series happening right now, Modulo, I believe it is. Almost made me think of Modelos. No. And yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen is a smash hit, and the season looks great, and yeah, the hype hasn't died down at all, even though the original manga's over. And lastly, we got word from Gege Akutami, the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, from Jump Festa 2026, and they said this: Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo began with the short-sighted idea of, if I'm doing a spin-off, wouldn't sorcerers versus aliens be interesting? So then what are those aliens like? If I set the currently serialized content as the peak, what kind of story should we build within the limited length of a short serialization? Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo was born from being allowed to use time that would be normally spent on drawing and through trial and error while confronting modern issues. The anime is finally starting. Director Goshozono's direction, production, and sheer ability to ensure top-tier quality are just incredible. Of course, it's not just the director, but the talent and taste of the entire staff across every single stage of the production are incredible, starting with Iwasaki-sensei. Jujutsu Kaisen is supported by many people, and you, the readers, are also one of them. I will continue to move forward without ever forgetting my gratitude or my original intentions. Thank you, as always. So yeah, it seems like Gege Akutami, even though they, you know, went for a while, they left the manga scene, they're in great spirits, so good to hear it. But that's all I have for this one. I'm Tim. As always, people, have an awesome day. Peace in, and yeah, Happy New Year if you're in 2026 while you're watching this. Peace in.
When we first met, I was kinda lost, trying to figure out which way to go, took a different route. Didn't really know which way that I was headed. Needed some advice and I gave it when exactly how I said it. Think about it now, hope you see the vision. Put it all together, ain't no time for division.